Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into the Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual. As you guys know, this is our daily or every weekday show we do every weekday at 3 to dissolve and evaluate the topics of the day. As you guys can take a peek and see, we've got a ton of topics as we do every weekday. It seems like I do a good job of gathering just some great topics, some not so great topics, all together for your viewing pleasure. And as you can see, we've got a little sneak peek of our anchor topic of the day. But before we jump into this, I want to remind you that this is an exclusive stream to our brand new YouTube channel, Crump Live. So if you aren't already, make sure you are subscribed to that channel, although you really would only be watching this right now if you are already subscribed. But if you aren't subscribed, make sure you are. And if you're just getting in here, make sure you smash that like button. Shout out to Steve Rogers and Aaron Behringer I see in the chat. Shout out to my people over on Rumble as well, because I never leave you guys out. You're my people. And then shout out to my folks who are going to be joining us over on Getter as well. So nice to see you guys here. Aaron, no, I said it right this time. I said it right. I guarantee you I said it right. That is fake news. I did not say belief. I said brief. And I was very meticulous in saying brief. As you guys may or may not know, but these days my mouth just doesn't work the way I want it to. Sometimes I mispronounce a couple of words by accident. Dubois says, please don't spike the ball yet, Chandler. Nothing has been signed and the regs have not yet been removed. Oh, we're not spiking any ball yet, but I am highlighting that there are some great things happening. So we're going to jump into this. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I'll do some plugging later on for things, but let's just get started. The 30-minute timer starts now. Kevin Dalton says more students are now protesting and breaking out around California. We are taking our lives back, Gavin Newsom. So let's take a look at this video of what is purportedly students protesting in front of their school. This does look like a school building. None of them with masks on. And I don't even see any chin guards either. So it looks like they came out deep and just took it off. So let's turn this down a little bit so it's not blasting ears out. But wow. That is a ton of kids. Wow. Wow. I have not seen this many people gathered in such a patriotic way since after the election or around the election. And it's not even that these people are Republicans or conservatives or anything like that, although they're hoisting the American flag, so they might as well be conservatives in the eyes of people that dislike the American flag, you white supremacists, whatever. But I'm seeing a diverse group of young people that's actually even wider than the camera can see. See, it's still going. It's still going, and there's some down there. I think it starts right about over here, and as you can see, there's a little... Here, actually, let me move my thing over, but there's a masks required sign right there. And I believe this is a school, although it might also be like a school administration building, but either way, they're gathered in front of something that is clearly a government, local school property. Look at how many kids there are. This ends when I think it says something like say it does or stand up. They've got signs, they've got flags. Can't even read the signs because there's so many of them. You have to stand back just to even get a glimpse of how wide this is. Let's check out what some of the comments are saying, because this tweet did numbers. Somebody says, good timing as California is lifting the mandate this Wednesday. That's not entirely true. It says not for them. So these students are protesting in an area of California that is still going to be living with the mandates and is still going to more than likely have to go to school dealing with, things like that. The masks. It's madness. So let's see what else people are saying. My kids went there. I'm proud they marched out today. Somebody says, and give them a huge applaud for us, please. Because some of us parents like me have little ones in preschool who just don't understand or can comprehend what's going on. So happy that the older kids are standing up to this madness while helping out the younger kids. Steve, is very true. We gotta wake up America. Lady Liv says, puts the American color emojis. I like it. It's what we need to be seeing. But this is not the only case of people standing up. But here's a case of people standing up and it actually getting somewhere. Now, you guys may remember we covered on one of our previous episodes of the brief that in Virginia, they had actually passed a bill in the Senate to get rid of the mask mandates in some places and in schools. Now, we heard that this was going to go to the Virginia House and it was more than likely going to get passed, but we needed to wait for results. Well, the results are here. And so now in the Virginia State House, they have passed the bill sponsored by or drafted by Youngkin, the Youngkin bill that is ending the school mask mandates. And so now it is going to, Aaron, you're killing me. Now it is going to the governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin's desk, and he will get to proudly sign this in. Updated. The Virginia Senate on Tuesday, on Tuesday approved, let me zoom out a little bit because this is kind of weird. Okay, there you go. Approved Governor Glenn Youngkin's amendment to SB 739, which allows parents to elect for their child to not wear a mask on school property, regardless of any mandates by locally elected school boards. Wow, that's big. That is big. Under the amendment, the bill would take effect immediately, and school districts would have until March 1st to comply.
Billions.
Without the amendment, the bill won't take effect until July 1st. The Virginia House of Delegates approved a bill ending school mask mandates Monday on a party line vote, fast-tracking the proposed law to Governor Glenn Youngkin just 5 days after it was passed by the state Senate. Youngkin is expected to recommend an emergency clause that could cause the legislation to take effect immediately rather than July 1st, the default effective date for new laws approved by the General Assembly. Youngkin, who briefly walked onto the House floor Monday to mark the legislation's passage, confirmed he plans to send a bill revised with an emergency clause to the House as early as tomorrow. That means the legislature could be taking its final votes on the matter later this week. So we are really close. Not only is it already cemented and confirmed that on July 1st, it will get through and there will no longer be any issues with children and mask mandates, but that's the end of the school year. We're still only a little over half of the way of the school year in most places, and I believe in Virginia as well. I believe it's one of those states where most of the school districts go until about late May or perhaps even early June. Some of those districts are draconian. I could not do that, but it would take effect July 1st. Nobody's in school on July 1st, at least not really publicly. So he wants to send another emergency clause to the state house to actually pass it through, and so that once he signs it, immediately those children are free and those parents are free to make the choice. So if it happened the first time and it got through for July 1st, even on a party line vote in the House, and it actually went through the Senate just fine, we predict another party line vote in the House that it's going to edge out for Republicans because they have the majority in the Virginia State House and go on towards the Senate, pass through there, perhaps even with some Democrats like it did before, and be approved by Glenn Youngkin. It's time we end the insanity and let our kids be kids again, the State House Speaker Todd Gilbert said in a news release. Virginia is behind the curve for states ending mask mandates, and I'm proud of the legislature for getting this done quickly. To emphasize the speediness of the effort, House Republicans immediately took the bill to Glenn Youngkin's office at the Capitol to deliver it to the governor in person. Though some Republicans have suggested blue states like New Jersey, Delaware, and more are following Youngkin's lead by beginning to lift school mask mandates, Democrats say the Virginia legislation goes well beyond what some Democratic governors are doing. The Virginia legislation prevents local school boards from making their own decisions about whether masks should be mandatory or optional, which it shouldn't be up to the school boards. It should be up to the dang parents, and that's all people are fighting for, honestly. The local school divisions do not have any say in Florida, Philip Corrin said on the House floor Monday, and if this bill passes today, they will not here in the Commonwealth either. So boom, there you go. Virginia is trying to elevate itself up to Florida levels. I see what they're doing. I don't blame them. They're trying to catch up. Virginia, they've got a few beaches. They're trying to, be like, Virginia's for lovers. Florida, they saw Florida's visitor numbers. We covered it yesterday. Florida had something like 120 million American citizens visit in 2021 alone. That is nearly, or just about, a third of the population of the United States of America. I believe it was something like 120 million. Let's pull up the stats. Hold on, I still have it right here. So in Florida, just last year, 118 million Americans visited Florida. The population of America is something like 320 or 30 million at this point. So that's just nearly under a third of American citizens visiting Florida last year. So of course, Virginia's going to want to get in on that tourism money. Of course, they're going to want to model their state a little bit more like states that are doing very well, like Florida, which has one of the most popular governors, if not the most popular governor in the country, who's being praised as a potential presidential candidate. He doesn't even want to run, at least so far as we've heard, but he's very popular. That's a lot of power right there in Florida. It's a great state. It's a great place to be, so it's not surprising that Virginia is trying to get in on that as well. Speaking of get in on it, I want to give a big thank you to my people who are watching our show here today. I want to remind you that this show is, of course, sponsored by viewers like you, and if you're interested in supporting our content and joining our very honorable Hall of Heroes up here by getting your name emblazoned on the top of the stream, then be sure to visit donorbox.org/support-Chandler and consider a one-time or even a monthly donation to support our content each time it comes through on the donor wall. I will select it and then put it right above my name here, right above my face, I should say. And so your options for doing this, of course, are easy. You just hit this button, you select one time or monthly if you don't want to worry about it. You write a comment and display your donation and comment on the wall, and then you just say, thanks for what you do, Chandler, or anything like that, or I enjoy the show, or if you're Aaron Behringer, for example, say, just to make sure you don't say bleef. And then, $20 or something like that. Whatever amount you want to choose and whatever reason you want to give, it works out fine for me. And it goes towards supporting the show as well. Your name will go up here. So if anybody is interested in doing that, all of those options are available in the description below. I'll also throw them in the chat just to make it a little easier. Big thank you to my people over on Rumble. You guys are amazing. We also, of course, support Cash App donations, so it goes in the same place. I'll still put your name on the Hall of Heroes up here. So if you're interested in doing that, all those options are available in the description below. I also want to remind you guys, we covered it plenty yesterday, but just to remind you guys, this show is, of course, sponsored by My Pillow. So if you're interested in getting amazing sleep with some pretty great deals, if I do say so myself, be sure to go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP to support the truckers, to support My Pillow sending pillows to the truckers. We covered that yesterday. If you want to learn more about that, you can see it on my channel. Doing amazing things, Mike Lindell truly is. If you want to support them while also supporting me, Mike Lindell, anything like that, then make sure you go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP for a discount on your very own purchase of sheets, pillows, basically anything like that. But the stories just keep on getting better and better because we're kind of just jumping across the nation. We started in California, then jumped to Virginia, touched a little bit on Florida. Now let's go back to California because it seems like there's been a little bit of a power shakeup. Because in San Francisco, school board members have been ousted and a parental backlash. Now, ousted is a very powerful word. It was more so an election. They voted out a few San Francisco school board members to recall Allison Collins, Gabriela Lopez, and Fauga Muliga, which is 3 of the 7 school board members for which district? San Francisco voters, parental backlash. Let's just read this. San Francisco voters have recalled 3 school board members who spurred a parental backlash for pursuing the renaming of schools and other progressive policy changes as classrooms remained empty during the coronavirus pandemic. So they tried to go woke, and the parents were like, all right, we've had enough of this. Initial returns Tuesday night showed that voters overwhelmingly voted yes to recall these people. 3 of the board's 7 members, 79%, 75%, and 73%, respectively, for Collins, Lopez, and Moliga. The early results were dramatic enough that backers quickly declared victory, and Moliga acknowledged his apparent defeat. The outcome in one of the nation's most liberal cities signaled that education issues remain a potent motivator for voters 2 years into the pandemic, with midterms and gubernatorial elections on the horizon. The voters of the city have delivered a clear message that the school board must focus on the essentials of delivering a well-run school system above all else, said the mayor of San Francisco. Breed will get to appoint the 3 replacements to the school board, who Breed is the mayor, London Breed. Schools in San Francisco remained shuttered longer than in most other cities, even in California. Students there did not return full-time to the classroom until last August. As distance learning dragged on, school board members drew national ridicule as they moved to rename dozens of institutions, including Abraham Lincoln High School. Lincoln? Are you serious? Come on. California has not gone as far as other Democratic-led states that have dissolved student mask mandates. Governor Gavin Newsom's administration has promised to release a timeline at the end of the month, and the legislature will consider controversial legislation broadly making vaccines a prerequisite for in-person learning. So no wonder parents are recalling their school board members and are getting rather upset, because they don't want masks anymore. They want their children to be up to the parents to decide if they have to wear a mask, not up to some snotty school board member, not up to some snotty governor, and definitely not up to some snotty president. And definitely they don't want to have any vaccine mandates of anything of the sort. You guys realize that they are planning massive protests in Southern California on March 5th, where they are going to have big speeches. It's the next American homecoming against vaccine mandates, against mask mandates. And then they're going to start a truckers protest going from California all the way to Washington, D.C., cross country. I think that's like 1,600, 2,000 miles. Might even be more. I think somebody gave me the fact check the other day about how far away that is. But that is cross country drive. Literally, as far as you can get from D.C. is just about San Francisco on land. You're not going to Hawaii, but it's pretty big what's happening. And these people think they can get away with this type of stuff. They think they can get away with saying we want to have vaccines prerequisite for in-person learning. You really want to jab up a 5-year-old just so he can go to kindergarten? Now, this isn't any medical misinformation. I'm not spouting anything about vaccines. I'm just saying the mandates are unpopular. I'm stating a fact. The mandates are unpopular. And that's where I'll leave it at, because I don't want to get any more strikes from YouTube. Not today, at least. Moving on to another place where things have just been seeming to get a lot of government leaders that are like, we need to crack down on the people, really show them who's boss, and the people being like, we'll show you who's boss. And that is, of course, in Canada. Now, I've tried my best to stay a little bit more in America today, but unfortunately, the topics just never end, so welcome to our Canadian block of programming. Justin Trudeau has said he will crack down on Canadian trucker bank accounts as Gives and Go remains down. Now, this part of the story isn't true anymore. Gives and Go is back up, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but he is saying he will crack down on bank accounts. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau on Sunday vowed to freeze bank accounts of truckers protesting the COVID mandates, while the movement's fundraising website remained down. Once again, not true yet. Not true anymore. Right-wing fundraising site Gives and Go remained down, and the platform has not said anything for over 24 hours, despite the website and official page for the Canadian truckers appearing to be hacked and non-functional on Monday. Only on Monday. A leaked website also said it received a cache of information, including donor details to the Freedom Convoy protest after the fundraising site was targeted in a cyber attack. Protesters had raised more than $8 million of funding to support their cause as they blockade roads in the Canadian capital, Ottawa. The protests, which have been associated with the anti-vax movement and far right, had gathered movement all over the world. Newsweek has contacted the fundraiser site for comment. The demonstrations began as protests against Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau's requirements for truckers to quarantine if they are unvaccinated and cross the border with the U.S. But as the protests have grown, they've also been rallying against wider COVID restrictions. I want to skip forward a little bit and see if I can find the part. So here it is. So in a televised address, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland announced that banks and other financial service providers have the power to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. Hold on. Let's see. What is this? Let's hear this. Let me turn it down a little bit so we're not blasting ears.
As of today, a bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order. In doing so, they will be protected against civil liability for actions taken in good faith. Federal government institutions will have a new broad authority.
In good faith. Those are just the words you like to hear. Also, to the people who are bullying me, John Ryan over on Gitter says, Brank. I said bank. I said bank. I promise you, I said bank. Stop bullying me.
To share relevant information with banks and other financial service providers to ensure that we can all work together to put a stop to the funding of these illegal blockades. This is about following the money.
And that's exactly what they want to do, is follow the money. And they're going door to door, basically, for the money, saying, are you a bank? Yes. Do you have money from these protesters? Yes. You can't move it anymore. You need to shut that down. And speaking of shut that down, Aaron Behringer has put his money where his mouth is. He sends a $50 donation. Thank you, Aaron. Your name is officially joining the Hall of Heroes. Thankfully, he didn't add a message saying that I need to improve my pronunciation, so big respect to you, Aaron, for not bullying me this time. I'm going to add your name up here right now. But I guess we do need to follow the money, so I guess I'll try my best, Aaron. Big thank you to Grace. She will be stepping down from the Hall of Heroes this time. But thank you to her, and thank you to Karen as well from our previous show. If you guys, of course, want to join the Hall of Heroes, you can... Oh, hold on. Let me adjust the amount. I always forget to do that. If you want to join the Hall of Heroes at the top, make sure you check the link in the description. Oop, not 250, 50. And consider a one-time or monthly donation to join our heroes. Shout out Steve Harloa in the chat and Apes of Wrath. He says, I like that they still can't stop foreign property ownership in Canada. Good one. Yeah, so thank you to Aaron. For you, you get a... Billions! An honorary billions for the thankfulness of me. John says the first time was Brank, the second time was Bank. Nope, both times were Bank. Fake news. Stop lying. Hold on.
Go. You know the thing.
You know what I was saying. Okay, so you need to
stop the cap.
Okay. On Thursday, he declared the blockades illegal and told the remaining protesters that it was time to go home. Trudeau has ruled out using the military to restore order. Has he? Because now it seems like the cops are acting like the military. Because as you can see in this article, I did a little... magician's swipe there. Canadian cops are now hounding women for posting about the Freedom Convoy on Facebook, while top political aides that were exposed by the hacker for the Freedom Convoy fundraiser are now forced out of their jobs for donating $100 to truckers. Now, this is something we theorized might happen yesterday. Now, we talked about this yesterday. It was the fact that the convoy donations what's the word? Fundraiser. Sorry, the convoy fundraiser that had received millions in donations had been leaked. So people had their information leaked, and we had heard about a few civil employees that had their information leaked as well. And it now looks like they too, like we predicted, are losing their jobs simply for donating to this protest, as Trudeau regime uses every trick in the book to crack down on COVID dissidents. Canadian Prime Minister, hold on, drink some. Okay. No, I know what I said, okay? I know what you guys think I said. I'm getting texts about me saying brank. Now, you may have heard me say brank, but you're just wrong, you know? I decide what's true. Just like Justin Trudeau decides if you can actually protest for something or not. Like in 2020, he said the Black Lives Matter protesters, they're 100% fine. You know, they're doing bad things, but it's okay. But these anti-vaccine protesters, as he would say it, we really know it's anti-vaccine mandate protesters, but these people who are trying to stand up for their freedom, yeah, you don't quite get the right. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau has stepped up on cracking down on Freedom Convoy demonstrators, with police now visiting the homes of people who post in support of the protests. What? What?
Rub my leg down.
What? Somebody come to my house and rub my leg down, because I'm losing my mind here. This can't be real. The Prime Minister, who may I remind you is,
And you ain't black.
despite how many times he puts blackface on his face, is now sending the cops to visit the homes of people who post on Facebook? No, this can't be real. And a woman forced out of her job, a government job, like we said, civic job yesterday, after donating to the demonstrations. Trudeau on Wednesday was considering using his extraordinary powers under the Emergencies Act to establish no-go zones in Ottawa to dispel the remaining protests in the nation's capital. So not only is he trying to set up, what is the opposite of an autonomous zone, I guess? Technically a no-go zone. We heard about the autonomous zones, and people basically turned Ottawa into an autonomous zone. People trying to get in there and protest for their freedom, protest for their rights. He is now trying to set up zones of which you cannot go. Frustration with the failure of Canadian police to lift blockades at the border and in the capital, along with themes of protesters lounging in hot tubs near Oh my gosh, I need to find this. Lounging in hot tubs near Parliament ultimately drove Trudeau to seek emergency powers earlier this week. Trudeau has been slammed by critics who accuse him of imposing martial law to crush the protests over vaccine mandates and other pandemic restrictions. Sorry, I'm still laughing at the fact that people started hanging out in hot tubs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, appearing to buckle under pressure after weeks of protests this week, announced an end to COVID restrictions and seemed to echo the message of the protesters opposed to pandemic mandates, saying of capacity limits, let's just start moving on. Cautiously, the world's done with it. Let's just move forward. But in a crackdown on the protests, an Ontario provincial police officer knocked on the very door of Nadine Ellis Maffei's farmhouse last week to hand her a card and a pamphlet after seeing her post to a Facebook group video of the incident shows. Because of the protests happening province-wide, yes, we have been monitoring the protests. So there's a protest coming up. I'm simply providing information about a peaceful protest, the officer said in the video taken last Thursday. I was flabbergasted, the mother of three. There's video. No way. Hold on. Let me play this. Let me, turn it down a little and then
my home. Can I just get your name?
okay, so there's no way there's actually video of this.
Sorry, since you're at my home,
Sorry.
can I just get your name and your badge number, please?
I have a card here.
'Kay.
It's Erica Ingram.
Thank
Okay,
you.
And this is just some information about peaceful protests. That's all it is.
Okay, so you saw something on my Facebook?
No, on the Facebook group.
Okay, and decided to come to my personal residence to give me information about peaceful protest?
Yes.
Okay, so are the Peterborough Police, no, you're with
We're
OPP?
OPP.
Are you guys now monitoring people's Facebook pages? Or Facebook groups to who comments as to
can't
what
answer.
their status updates are or what they're doing or
So
within the group?
Just
Like,
because of the protests happening province-wide, yes, we have been monitoring the protests.
We have been monitoring the protests. No, you've been monitoring you said yes. You are monitoring people's Facebook pages. There's no defense. You can't defend these people. As well, an Ontario provincial staffer has been forced out of her job after hackers revealed that she donated $100. Marianne Isabelle Ringuette, who was Ontario Solicitor General Sylvia Jones' communications director, lost her job 10 days after making the donation, according to the Toronto Star, after the donor list to a Give and Go campaign was stolen and leaked by hackers this week. Isabeau's identity was apparently deciphered and reported to her employer, although she only used her initials when making the. She didn't even give her full name. Dang. Miss Isabeau Ranguet no longer works for the Ontario government, Ivana Yelik, Ford's executive director of media relations, told the Star. Let me just mute this. We're not commenting any further as this is a staffing matter. People are being hunted down and are losing their jobs over this mess. Can you believe it? Okay, I've looked at the time and we're going to have to fast track through a few more of these subjects. So, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Okay. Thales, I see you. We'll work on that. Thank you. So this is actually the hacker from... This is actually the person who hacked the Give Sing Go, or at least claims to be the person that hacked the Give Sing Go right here. Speaking out, acting very crazy. Let's hear this.
Nothing scares me. Nothing. Yes, I doxed the truckers. I did it. It was me. I hacked Give Send Go, baby. And I do it again.
This guy's crazy.
I do it 100 times.
Okay, now for your guys' ears' sake, we won't watch more of this. I've already watched this video. He gets heavy on the language, but dyed hair, kind of doughy looking face, otherwise pretty scrawny if we're doing, you know, a physiognomy check. This guy's a laughingstock. He's got, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5-monitor setup, and that's just what we can see. He's got the Spotify open, some code-looking stuff, honestly, trying to look way tougher than he truly is. What is this guy doing? I don't know. He's attacking Give Sing Go. Later on in the video, he claims he's hacked Getter and Gab, so clearly a very scary person. Don't want to mess with him. He's hacking Give Sing Go. That's what he's got to say. But jumping forward, because this story just doesn't get crazy enough, Ottawa police are now telling protesters within the city that they need to leave the area or face arrest. So this is touching a little bit more on the no-go zones that Justin Trudeau is actually pushing forward. Somebody on Rumble says, Kool-Aid hair confirmed. Good one, good one. Ottawa police are reportedly handing out notices on the ground to the Freedom Convoy in the city's downtown core. The notices are being served as the protest nears its 4th weekend in the nation's capital. It states, you must leave the area now. Anyone blocking streets or assisting others in the blocking streets are committing a criminal offense and you may be arrested. You must immediately cease further unlawful activity. The people of Ottawa are being denied the lawful use, enjoyment, and operation of their property, and you are causing businesses to close. That is mischief under the criminal code. And then here's an image of the stuff that they're handing out once it loads. You can see here, so here's their statement, you must leave the area now, yada yada, charges and or convictions related to unlawful activity, yada yada. Anyone who commits these illegal actions could face fines or be required to appear in court. That is crazy. Steve says, what is actually wrong with this psycho? And what's wrong with people? That's my question. To the people who are out there in Ottawa standing for their freedom and standing up, big ups to you. Mad love, don't stand down, keep it up, don't back down, don't back up. Don't give up. I'm proud of y'all. I really am proud of y'all. I wonder if any of them have been watching our shows here, because we've been covering this for weeks now. It's been going on, as they say, for 4 weekends now, and it's not ending. It's not anywhere close to ending. People aren't stopping. And it just keeps getting better and better because now provinces and cities are having to announce that they are ending their mandates. We've covered this in America as well, people ending their mask mandates and things of that nature, but now it's happening even in Quebec, which is another major province that we had heard nothing much about up to recently, because we had heard that Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Alberta were ending their mandates. Sorry, those Canadian province names don't stick in my head like American states do, you know, just a little bit more memorable here in America. But Quebec, which is another major province which hadn't said anything until just yesterday, has announced that they too will be ending their vaccine passport system on March 14th. So in a month from now, no more mandates in Quebec, no more mandates in Saskatchewan, no more mandates in Manitoba, Alberta, and soon enough, once Doug Ford gives in, I think is Doug Ford is either Alberta or Ontario. I get them mixed up. I know there's Doug Ford and then there's Scott Moe. No, Scott Moe is Saskatchewan. Like I said, premiers, I'm not a Canadian. I don't remember these things as hard as most Canadians will, and I'm sure you guys are screaming at me in the comments, but we are withdrawing it gradually as we learn to live with the virus. Wow, we've been saying that for weeks. We've been saying that for months now. Wonder how we got here. The passport will no longer be used for big box stores, as well as the government-run liquor and cannabis stores starting Wednesday. Proof of vaccination will not be required to access places of worship. What? I didn't even know that was a thing. Proof of vaccination was required to go to church? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Aaron says they can end them today, but they have to hold on to power for as long as possible. Like making a dog wait for a treat. They have to make it so people are still obedient. Very true. That's why I'm proud of Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, who people were a little mixed on at the beginning because they thought maybe he's a rhino or something. But this guy is standing up. No, he didn't even accept, like, originally the bill said we're going to end it on July 1st. He said, no, that ain't good enough. Turn around. We're going to end it today. And now he's having his state house, and soon it'll be his state senate voting for it to end the second he signs it into law, which could be later this week. Now, unfortunately, government is slow, but Aaron, you make a great point. Glenn Youngkin's doing great stuff. So, honestly, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. We're going lightning round through a few more topics. Committee of Illinois state lawmakers have now voted against extending the school mask mandate. So, of course, it does still give them time. It ends on February 28th, which is not soon, but still, it is not a long time from now. It's way earlier than July 1st originally in Virginia or March 14th in Quebec. But a statewide mask mandate in Illinois ends on February 28th, but the battle over masks in Illinois schools still continues to heat up. On Tuesday, the Illinois Joint Committee on Administrative Rules, a committee of state lawmakers, voted against extending the mask mandate for schools. An extension would have required districts to enforce it, despite a recent judge's ruling that struck down the mandate. So we want to make sure that environment is protected, and we're watching very closely as the hospitalizations go down, and we remove masks for everyone else. Eventually, we will be able to do that here. Several Metro East school districts have gone mask optional because of the judge's ruling. In a letter sent to families late Tuesday, the school district of Granite announced it would be halting all COVID mitigations due to the vote by the Illinois Joint Committee. Our legal counsel has advised the school board and myself that there is no longer a legal basis to enforce these emergency rules because they were not renewed at the state level. Without a court order or an order from the local health department, Illinois schools cannot require employee vaccinations/testing, student employee masking, or exclusion of students and employees from school. It keeps on coming, and it keeps on coming, and it isn't stopping. Now, what is stopping, unfortunately, is our show today. We have just a few more topics we were going to cover, but unfortunately, we'll have to save them either for a video later today or our show tomorrow. But just to give you a little peek, this is a crazy thing. COVID-19 tests are now being submitted for genomic sequencing analysis. So if you took a COVID test, there is a 10% chance that your DNA has now been submitted for genomic sequencing. I might have to cover this a bit more, but I want to give a big thank you to everybody who's been tuned in. This has been our 30-minute show every weekday we do, every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big shout out to everybody who has donated during the show, especially Aaron, and then to my people over on Rumble and Gitter. You guys mean the world to me. Shout out to John Ryan over on Gitter for calling me out. We're going to keep this show going on, so I'll see you guys once again tomorrow. Big shout out to our Hall of Heroes members for today, Karen and Aaron. Oh, that rhymes. That's nice. If you want to join the Hall of Heroes, of course, your options are available in the description below. If you want to bully me for my mispronunciations, then be sure to go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler and consider a one-time or a monthly donation. And whoa, he actually did bully me. I didn't even see the message, but he has joined the donor wall and saying, just to make sure you don't say bleep. Well, I am proud to say that we will return once again tomorrow at 3 for the Chandler Brief. I'll see you guys once again then tomorrow. But before you do, you're going to want to have a great night's sleep. And the only way to get a great night's sleep is to go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP for your discount on your very own MyPillow, MyPillow sheets. And if you want to support Mike Lindell getting pillows up to the truckers so that they too can have a great night's sleep, then you know how to do it. Go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP. But aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow.